Well, one of the things that I think that is important about talking about this subject is I'm a private landlord and a real estate investor, and some of you already know this listening to the video, but I'm involved with litigation even when you are self-representing. So
Sure.
I have had many experiences with litigation on a smaller level, and sometimes that's where it starts. A lot of people are concerned with litigation from a defense point of view, but sometimes that's the only way to get a remedy is to, file suit yourself, even if you have to represent yourself.
Right.
Then, of course, as business grows, then you hire an attorney such as yourself to get involved with more complicated cases or cases that where you really shouldn't represent yourself.
Right. Well, in certain states, first of all,
yes,
corporations cannot represent themselves.
Right.
So if you've gone to the right business decision to incorporate yourself when you go into business, in New York, where I practice, a corporation cannot appear, they call it pro se, for themselves. So you have to have a lawyer represent you. But for sole proprietorships, for example, where you're not incorporated, sure. And small claims, for example, is a lot of times people's first reaction, first exposure to litigation. That's why it's called the People's Court. That's the People's Court.
Right, exactly. Now, but really where I want to go to is beyond the pro se where you're defending yourself is when you hire a litigation attorney, what do you think we as entrepreneurs and business people should look for? Now, as you know, Oscar, I've had a bit of a negative experience, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this video, because we were burned because of our own ignorance, and we were working with a firm that we really had a several-year relationship with, so we felt a certain loyalty. We wanted to preserve the relationship, and what I found out was you can take that too far. You can take the loyalty too far, and being ignorant, you ultimately pay the price. And you don't want to ruffle feathers, but you really pay the price in there. And I had to learn the hard way that there are many things outside of your control when you're in the courtroom. The judge calls a shot. You cannot speak out when you want. You can't just raise your hand and things like that. There is actually a protocol involved.
Of course, and there's rules of evidence.
Exactly.
So you think may really help you, but you're not allowed to say it in court for any number of reasons.
Absolutely. Right. So, how do we know what a good litigation attorney is, and how do we know that if we're dealing with a bad one? Can you give us some tips?
Sure, I'd be more than glad to. And it's certainly something that I do when clients come to me and ask me the same thing. Well, why you or why your firm? And one of the things that I'm not afraid of doing is sending people back out the door before they sign a retainer. So do me a favor, interview other attorneys, interview a number of attorneys.
I like that.
Get information, and
I like that.
That's why when you come back, I would almost say, at the risk of being overly general, don't hire the first lawyer you meet, even if he says everything you like. You need to take the time. That's the first thing. You need to understand that this decision could be something that affects you and your business for years to come.
I can attest to that.
Right. So you're not choosing a newspaper delivery man. You are choosing somebody who is going to represent you. Okay, that's important. They are going to be, to the judge and the jury, the face of your business. They're going to say what they need to say for you. They're going to come up with creative ways to present your position.
Hopefully.
Right. They're going to do their best for you in court. Okay, so it's an important decision. So first of all, say to yourself, it's going to take me some time. I'm going to need to do some homework, and I'm going to need to meet with a couple of lawyers. Sometimes the first lawyer or second lawyer you meet with might raise an issue that the preceding one or the next one might not think about, and you can ask them about that, or why didn't he think of that issue?
Right.
So the first thing you should do before you meet with a lawyer, think about what your problem is, and what is the resolution that you desire.
That's a good point.
any good litigation attorney is goal-oriented. Somewhere within the first 10 minutes after the nice introduction and tell me a little bit about your business, should be the question, what do you want to accomplish? If your lawyer is not focused on what you want to accomplish, you need to move on.
I didn't get asked that.
Right. Yeah, no, because that's the result. That's what we're talking about. You got
kind
to
of
be
meander around.
result oriented.
I got you.
Oh, you got a problem. You want to evict your tenant. Oh, you want to do what do you want? What do you expect to accomplish? Because then you hope that the lawyer is honest to say to you, that's not going to be, you can't accomplish that. Or we can do it this way, or it's going to cost you X to do it.
Right.
But certainly that's the first thing. So try to listen to see if they're thinking about goal-oriented results. What do they want? Are they listening to your business?
What's the next thing?
No, you need to know what you want to accomplish.
Okay.
And your budget.
Okay. Got to know.
So get some idea. What am I willing to throw at this problem? Is this a $500 problem? Is it a $5,000 problem? Is it a $50,000 problem? Am I willing to spend this amount? And if I am, make that decision, and now let's find the lawyer that does that. So, meet with the attorney and ask him what the anticipated budget is. Obviously, I hope most entrepreneurs are not smart enough to say, I think it's a few $1,000 problem, can you solve it for $50,000? And we're going to say, oh, guess what? That's exactly what I was going to say. So, try to get specifics as to budget.
Well,
and expectation of cost.
I would also say that litigation, most of the time the remedy is in money. So you're going to spend that, but you may or may not get the award you want, right?
Right.
So they got to factor that into consideration.
Well, that's why you start with the goal.
I see.
That's why you first say, what do you want to accomplish? That's the starting point.
I see.
Assess it for yourself. You should have the answers to all these questions before you meet the lawyer. You shouldn't require this meeting with the lawyer to answer most of these things. The lawyer will perhaps explain to you why you can or cannot do those things. That's different. But you say, this is what I want. In an ideal world, can I get this?
Right.
Can I get this? Legally, first of all, yes. Okay, secondly, what's it going to cost me to get it? And how are you going to get it? Okay. So then, the next thing is to ask for is a plan, what I call a plan of action. How are we accomplishing it? What are the steps? What are the phases? And give me a budget for each step and each phase. We should start out with a claim letter. Okay, what is that going to cost me? And we know that's not going to work. Why would we do that? Here's why. We want to give them an opportunity or whatever. Well, fine, we don't start with a claim letter. But my point is, every phase, have an understanding of what you're going to do, how you're going to accomplish it. Okay? So, the first step towards meeting a litigation attorney is by interviewing a number of them, asking them these questions and seeing their responses. Are they open to this approach? Are they listening to you? Are they agreeing to try to accomplish this for you within the budget that you can do? Now, while that's going on, you also want to try to find ways to see if this guy or gal can live up to these promises that they're making.
How do you go about doing that?
Okay, there's a number of ways.
Really?
Okay.
First
of all, most lawyers should be able to point, if you're a litigator, you should be able to point to reported decisions.
Really? Okay.
If you're in court, decisions get made, they get published.
Ah, that's a great
report decision. Can you show me some reported decisions that you've worked on? Give me the sites, some reported decisions. Guys, I don't have anything reported. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous. He hasn't really litigated at a significant, not even significant, at a level, really, where things haven't gone to appeal, and we should be able to find some reported decisions. Even if they can't find reported decisions, they can give you orders and decisions that judges have rendered that have not been reported in prior cases.
Is it a matter of public record?
Right, well, they're a matter of public record in the sense that every decision of a court is a public decision. It can be found. okay?
Even small claims stuff?
No, small claims is different.
Okay.
Small claims is different because the
I
value
gotcha.
is too low, they don't bother writing,
I understand that.
reporting things down. However, by the way, if someone makes a motion in small claims,
Yes.
and that decision is decided by a judge,
Yes.
that is reported, even in small claims.
Okay.
What's not reported are the results of cases. That's what I meant. But if judges make rulings on cases, throwing them out, let's say, those are reported. So you can find them in small claims. But by